Hi and welcome to this latest video. In this video, I'm joined for a second time by Dani Grieveson. Dani's an executive coach, and if you haven't seen our previous conversation on building confidence and improving performance during uncertain times, I'll link it below this video because it's full of practical insights and takeaways. And today we're going to talk about the subject of both personal and team development. And Dani's going to go through her 6 pillars that she uses when she conducts both personal and corporate training. So Dani, thank you so much for being a glutton for punishment and coming back for a second video. Just tell people, if they don't know you or haven't seen anything you've done before, tell us a bit about you and what you do.
Thank you, Adam, and it's a delight to be back with you. Thank you so much for asking me to join you again, and thank you. So a little bit about what I do. I call my company Lift This Life, and I didn't know that in a lockdown situation, lifting life would absolutely be what we needed to experience. Because let's face it, as we've journeyed through this time, it's got much more challenging for many different reasons. So what I do is I work with leaders and teams to develop them in their confidence and their performance. And of course, a lot of performance right now is in the virtual world. So we've all had to navigate and be agile. So I'm doing a lot of work online, of course, at the moment. And I did have a team day a couple of weeks ago with real people, socially distanced, which was absolutely amazing. But essentially, I really raise people up in their confidence and their performance. And just so people understand, my background is quite a unique one. We've all got a unique story, but I started life making Top Gear, the car show, which you might be familiar with, but blowing up cars and caravans and everything was my job. But it was essentially to help Jeremy, James and Richard Hammond deliver this amazing performance on camera. So creating the environment for them to be at their very best. And I suppose that's what I do now in my day job, is I create the environment and experience for people to deliver their own star performance, if you will. So I journeyed from there to UK marketing manager for Rolls-Royce motor cars, which was an amazing brand to be part of. And then I spent about 5 years coaching performance in the automotive sector, and then set up on my own back in August last year. And it's been one real roller coaster, let me tell you. Brexit, then COVID. But thankfully, what I do, Adam, people are coming to me for their confidence and performance right now because it is such a challenging time.
Thanks, Dani. And 2020 has been such a roller coaster. I think it emphasizes so much how important it is to think about our own development, both personally, professionally, and within the teams we work with. You've developed these 6 pillars. Perhaps just explain them to us and tell us what they're all about.
Thank you. So over the years, I have invested so much, not just in terms of finances, but so much energy, input, research into what makes us human and what makes us be at our best. So I've developed a program that I use with teams and people and individuals to really help elevate them in who they are. So it starts with a pillar called clarity. So with anything that we embark on, it's really important to be clear about why we're there. What are we doing, and what are our expectations? And I always set in those sessions the foundation of what success looks like, because success is where I like to take my clients. But let's face it, we all have a different picture of success. So for example, Donald Trump and Mother Teresa were very successful in their chosen fields. So Mother Teresa, almighty service to the poor, arguably, and Donald Trump, it feels like it's world domination, quite honestly, is his vision for success. But we all have a different vision and picture for success. But I like to get really clear and anchored in that, because that's where I'm taking my clients. Then I spend the next 2 sessions looking at confidence and strength. So it's doubtless to say that confidence really has been something that a lot of people have struggled with since March. Certainly, it's globally a time of uncertainty. So building confidence and certainty right now is pivotal to what I do. Then I spend the next 2 sessions looking at routine. So what is our routine? And I don't talk about routine in terms of a timetable like when we were at school, but I talk about routine in terms of good habits and also those not good habits that we're probably pressing into a little bit too long. So in this time of technology, something like our phone routine in the evening is something I've been working on with a lot of people, because people, you may have heard, aren't sleeping very well. So what is phone use like as part of the routine? But it's not that, just that specifically, it's those good habits and those bad habits that we need to say yes to and we need to say no to. Then I move forward into the pillar I call focus, focus and discipline, because these are areas that I've worked out over the years that people aren't very strong in. Focus and discipline. What do we need to be more disciplined about? And for some of us, that discipline comes in the form of actually saying no more. A lot of us are very good at saying yes, and it can be to our detriment. So saying no and setting boundaries comes into that pillar. Then a crucial pillar that I absolutely love, because I don't believe without this we are proper human beings, and that is fulfillment. So what fulfills you? As you just heard, I've worked at Rolls-Royce. I did a little contract with Princess Yachts. So I've worked with arguably some real world leaders and very, very financially successful people. And from my Top Gear days, I've worked with a number of celebrities. But I know, and you may see going about your daily life, that people may have the handbag, they may have the car, they may have the big house, but inside, are they really, really deeply fulfilled? And right now, this is becoming such an important pillar of who we are. So I love that, and I love pressing into people's fulfillment and bringing them alive in that pillar. And then we move forward into success and sustainability. So circling back to that vision, are we there? Do we need to do some more? Has that changed? Because success can sometimes change. People's vision for success, can sometimes change from situation to situation. And sustainability, so creating momentum and movement forward into their life. So that's what I do.
No, that's great. And I love the way the pillars work together, that when you have that clarity, it helps you say no to things and not just say yes to everything. And it gives you that focus and that discipline. So that's really helpful, Dani. How have you seen these pillars benefit both individuals, teams, your clients? How have you seen people implement, and what changes it brought about for people?
Well, I'll give you some feedback from one of my clients recently through lockdown. He actually said that, Dani is a fireball, and by going through this process, he really has come alive. Of course, I'm not going to mention names, but he was struggling with performance at work. His performance reviews hadn't been great, so we really brought him alive. And I worked with him actually only yesterday, and there are some exciting steps forward in his career, which is really great to behold. And that is through a pandemic and a financial crisis situation. So these pillars really do elevate people and teams in their performance. And I know that from lived experience with my clients.
And you talked earlier about, say, the importance of routine during this time, and particularly during lockdown, people have developed perhaps bad habits, and you talked about phone routines, which in this time of uncertainty, upheaval, which of these pillars have been particularly important? And perhaps you can give some examples, like your phone routine and stuff, the things that have been particularly important at this time.
Routine is undeniably important. Aristotle, arguably the founder of Western philosophy, said, "We are what we repeatedly do. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is a habit." We are what we repeatedly do. So if we're repeatedly making carrot cake, making banana bread, and eating it, we're certainly going to notice that habit is changing us and probably making our clothes shrink in the wardrobe, which can happen from time to time. But we are what we repeatedly do. So if you're spending a lot of time on Instagram, social media, and you're not feeling that good, then you definitely need to look at your phone use and putting maybe different apps or services on your phone to actually prevent you from being on your phone at certain times, so pain points within the day. So routine is definitely really important, and of course routine in your work, having focus and discipline and the right attitude towards your work, especially in this work from home situation. So routine is really, really vital. But for me, fulfillment is absolutely key in the people that I work with. I really, really do strongly believe this needs to be our anchor right now. So what I would suggest as a little tip for people watching this is just ask yourself, what does fulfill you? When were you last feeling truly fulfilled? What were you doing that day, that week? Because when we are fulfilled, our success can come. There's a great quote that absolutely changed my life, and it goes like this: success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And bringing it back to reality, we can cite someone such as Robin Williams. We all know Robin Williams, arguably one of the funniest men ever to exist on the planet. Mrs. Doubtfire, the genie in Aladdin. He was absolutely hilarious, plus quite a few sitcoms. And there's a man who had gone and wanted to be the funniest man in the world. He'd had award-winning sitcoms, award-winning movies, but yet this success wasn't fulfilling to him, and it was to his detriment ultimately. So that is why for me, Adam, fulfillment is absolutely pivotal, because the outside is all just shiny stuff, but inside is where the absolute substance happens. And Maya Angelou said, the human rights activist, I love many of her teachings, but she says nothing can shine the light, nothing can dim the light that shines from within. So finding that light and making it shine from within is absolutely what I'm all about.
I think that's such a challenge, isn't it? You know, so many people are chasing after success, and perhaps when they reach the top of the ladder, they realize it's never the one they wanted to climb in the first place. So yeah, absolutely. No, that's really helpful, Dani. In terms, let's stay in that same vein. We want to give people practical steps that they can take forward and things they can start to implement in their day-to-day lives to start to grow in these areas. What sort of practical advice, somebody like me, somebody watching this, what practical steps can they take to go forward?
Oh, Adam, there's an absolute abundance, and as I say, I've really pressed into strategies and techniques that we can do daily that are going to help lift us from this lockdown situation. And actually, one that I really liked is, yes, we can read so many books, and I've got a resources guide. So if anyone wants to connect, I've got a fabulous resources guide. I'd be delighted to share with your viewers, Adam. But I think there's real power in this old device. So in this time when we're all on our phones, all on technology, all on screen for most of our day, there's real power in going a little bit retro and old school. So writing down a list of the people who inspire you. So start with 10 people. Who inspires you? And the word inspire comes from the Latin meaning in spirit. So who gets in your spirit and can raise it up? So it might be people that you know, it might be people that you want to meet, but who inspires you? Because when you write that list, then go off and look at that person's teachings, their books perhaps, or indeed their TED Talk, or they might have a movie made about them. But when that person gets in your spirit, it will lift you up. So who inspires you? I challenge you to write down 10 people, and then I challenge you to write down a further 40. So make that list 50. It's a really good list, an invigorating list to write. And it is one that maybe will challenge your viewers in their head, because, oh, that person should be on my list, but they don't really inspire me. So it's a really good list to get out. So writing the list of 50 people that inspire you. And then I took some time away just to change scene, and I read a book called Your Dream Life Starts Here. And that maybe feels a little bit woo-woo and a little bit out there and a bit new age. Your dream life starts starts here. But when you think about it, when you really, really think about it, and this was what the book was pressing into, is if we're not living our dream life, the life of our dreams, then we're not living our real life. And that's why it's important for me to get to what success is, because that's what people dream, hope, and want for. So that's where I take them. But writing down what your dreams are, what's your bucket list? I know we're challenged by the constraints of travel at the moment, but in the mindset of what we can do right now, I challenge you to write down your dream life. What does your dream life look like? And then the other list that I really, really, really like to encourage people to write is, you may work for a company, an organization, you may be part of a faith community, a sports community, and you'll know what that community's values are, or your organization and your companies. We all are very much spoon-fed our organization's values. But have you ever stopped to think what your values are? What do I value? And that's another list that I encourage you to take your pen and write down, because when we take our pen and write something down, it opens a neurological pathway in our body. So there's a biomechanical function in writing things down rather than putting them in the notes section of our phone. So those are a little few strategies that I know will help people right now, Adam.
No, that's great, and really practical steps that people can take, and it feeds into that gaining clarity. As people write this stuff down, they'll gain clarity. Let me be cheeky, Dani. Who are some of people who's on your inspiration list? Just any.
Oh,
go on.
I don't mind sharing this at all. I don't really know where to start, because it all kind of came out. But Sheryl Sandberg, the COO of Facebook, Mahatma Gandhi, Brené Brown. I take a lot of inspiration from Brené Brown, Margaret Thatcher. Think what you will of her, but she was a formidable leader. My grandmother, who's sadly passed away. And so this is where I'm saying, there are lots of people you think should be on it, because maybe your mum, maybe your dad, or maybe you've got a challenging relationship with certain people in your family. But it's a really, really great list to unpack.
No, that's fascinating, and different people from totally different arenas. No, thank you, Dani. That's cool. In terms of how can you help people, and how can people get in touch with you if there are people who want help personally to develop, or people who run businesses and would love to come and have you work with their teams, or if people just want to get a hold of that resource guide from you, how do people get in touch with you? What can you do for people?
Well, certainly email me at Dani at liftthislife.co.uk. But I really do like a phone call, so please do phone me. I think we're all in that screen time, and please do just pick up the phone. I'm not shy of having a conversation with people, so please do pick up the phone. My number's on my website that I know Adam will put at the bottom here. So please do engage if you'd like some support right now.
Yeah, I'll put all of Dani's details below this video, and also a link to our previous conversation so you can have a look at that. So there are plenty of practical steps that Dani has given us today in order to develop clarity, confidence, routine, focus and discipline, fulfillment, and ultimately to achieve success. So Dani, thank you so much for joining me today. A real pleasure as always, and full of real great stuff that people can take away and implement into their lives.
Thank you so much, Adam. A pleasure to be with you again. Thank you.
Thanks, Dani.